Konnichiwa, it's me, Bussy Kurosaki, and welcome back to Hot or Hot. And today we'll be reviewing episode 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race Global All-Stars live from Tokyo. Well, I guess not live since this is pre-recorded, but you get my point. In today's episode, which I'm already crowning the best of the season, our 8 eliminated queens return to compete in the Global Lip Sync Lalaparuza for the title of Global Lip Sync Assassin and a cash prize of $50,000, which is the real gag of the season considering most of these queens competed on seasons that didn't have cash prizes for even the winners. So it's certainly not an overstatement to say there's a lot on the line here. And the setup for this Lalaparuza is bracket style with a wheel spin determining the first queen in each round's pairing, who then gets to select their opponent, and that opponent then gets to select the song that the two are going to lip sync to. But the gag is all of the tracks they can select are RuPaul songs, which I was at first a little upset by, but after thinking it over, I realized this was probably one of the most fair song selections in a Lalaparuza we've ever seen, because I can't imagine many of these tracks are a part of the queen's regular nightlife performance repertoire, which means it's likely all 8 of these queens had to actually do their homework and study the lyrics of all 7 RuPaul songs, thus putting them on a really even playing field for this episode. And we've got 7 lip syncs to break down, so let's go ahead and get started with round 1. The wheel spin lands on Vanity, who going into this episode is the Global All-Stars lip sync assassin, and she makes the ballsy choice to lip sync against Evil Kween, who then chooses the song just what they want. And unfortunately for Vanity, the outcome of this lip sync was determined in about the first 3 seconds when it became very obvious she did not know a single lyric in that first verse of the track. She was giving a lot of looks at the back of the stage and doing her best with just kind of opening and closing her mouth to the beat of the song, and even the ponytail that she starts unwrapping from that wig to spin around in the chorus did not save this performance. On the other side of the stage though, we have Eva, who knows every single lyric to this track and then some, and she delivers this lip sync with a technical finesse that I think would have allowed even the astronauts on the International Space Station to read her lips. And that's on Mother. Vanity's performance tonight is going to be a solid rot from me, but I did at least give her the 2 flames for the effort in the choreos she tried to lay down in the middle part of this song. But it was honestly such a gag that somebody who slayed so many lip syncs in this season didn't know any lyrics to this entire song. And I'm giving Eva the full 5 hot flames here because not only did she know every single lyric and deliver it with confidence, but she also had some great comedic mimings and choreo to go along with some of the fun parts of the track like Commander-in-Chief and the flossing lyric, really cementing that she knew this song forwards and backwards. Which brings us to round 2, where the wheel spin lands on Soa de Muse, who then selects Tessa T as her opponent, who chooses A.S.M.R Lover for their song. And because this was another fast song with a lot of lyrics and a fast rap verse feature on it, I thought surely that Tessa selecting this song meant she had it on lock. But guess what, Mimi? She didn't. And it's not that Tessa did bad in this lip sync, it's just that the overall effect of what she gave was a little messy, and by the end, her frantic energy was causing some of her choreo to be really off, like when she dropped into the split and just kind of hits that front of the stage awkwardly. In the first half, Tessa did do a lot better, where she was giving a more sensual vibe that I think actually matched the tone of the song a little bit better than Soa's lip sync. But one of Tessa's biggest saboteurs in the lip sync was the wig she chose to wear, which kept getting in her face, and every few seconds she would have to bend down and flip it back. And so because she lost control of it all in the end, I'm gonna leave Tessa's performance with a warming up. But Soa, on the other hand, was clean in this performance, top to bottom, left to right. Her choreo was super tight and she was hitting every beat and appeared to know most all of the words. I do think she maybe flubbed a few of the words in the rap verse, but definitely seemed more confident in her lip sync delivery throughout the entire track than Tessa. And I do think her energy was a little too clean and tight for this more sensual song, which is why I didn't give her the full 5 flames here, but this performance from Soa was definitely hot. And this was really just a taste of the excellent lip syncing that is to come from Zoa. Which brings us into round 3, where the wheel selects Athena Likis, who selects Pythia as her lip sync opponent. And honestly, I think Athena made a really smart choice here, because she was looking at a lineup of Pythia, Gala, Varo, and Miranda Lebrao, who all are excellent performers, and Athena being a first out, I think really had something to prove, and wanted an easy win to make sure she would get more airtime this episode. Pythia, though, also made a really smart strategic choice here, going for the slower song, Jealous of My Boogie, which she also is kind of dressed perfectly for. I loved Pythia's hair and outfit, and how everything she did was perfect for this track. And for me, this is when the Lalaparuza really started getting good, because I was enjoying it up until this point, but like it was very obvious one queen was winning over the other. And this is when it starts to be neck and neck, hair and hair. I want to say Athena was amazing in this lip sync start to finish, and was the biggest surprise in this Lalaparuza for me tonight personally. So you got these really great grand movements and big energy that she brings to this disco track. And for me, wins this lip sync when she does the back bend with the oh, which she transitions into the cartwheel trick. Athena, though, I will absolutely commend, gave a super solid performance here, but I think maybe just waited a little too long to bust out her tricks. She was doing a lot of like this one and this one, which were great for the song. And again, she looked great in that outfit doing those old dance moves to the song. But she really came alive near the end of this performance when she did her back bend. And honestly, I think she could have beaten any queen who wasn't ready to absolutely give it their all and leave everything on the stage. So I'm gonna give Pythia an absolute hot here. But unfortunately Pythia, Athena not only understood the assignment, but turned it in early and did the extra credit. So Athena, I'm giving 5 out of 5 hot flames, and I'm gonna call as a definite winner of this lip sync. And in round 4, the wheel selects Miranda Lebrao, who then chooses Gala Varo as her lip sync opponent, who chooses Cha Cha Bitch as their lip sync track, which I did react to over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen, which is my members only website where my patron family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my YouTube videos and access to exclusive videos like reactions to RuPaul's Drag Race for every episode that I review. And you can click the link below to watch that reaction and all the other hundreds of exclusive reaction content I've uploaded to my Patreon below. See you there. And honestly, the second Gala chose this song, I thought it was completely over for Miranda, but I think we really need to give Miranda her flowers because she put up a good ass fight in this song. But first, let's talk about Gala, who gives us 100% sensual, sexy diva from the start. Like when she whipped that hair around and just kind of like does one of these little side looks to the camera, to the judges, I was like, oh, she got it. She got it. And of course, she nails the Spanish rap intro in this track. And the way every time RuPaul says drama in this song, Gala did those really big dramatic eyes, I fell in love. Like seriously, I think this entire lip sync performance from Gala is gonna be a Drag Race career highlight for her, because she worked every inch of that stage and then some. And there was even a second where she was just dominating Miranda and standing in front of her doing her crazy sensual movements. Gala's one slip up in this lip sync was at the very end when she's twirling around and loses her wig, which we do know to be a cardinal sin of a lip sync. But because Gala did so well up until this point in the lip sync and the wig slip wasn't until the very end, I think it could definitely be forgiven. Like, is it really her fault that she worked so damn hard in this song that she sweated the wig glue off? I don't think so. And so even though Gala lost her wig, I'm giving her 5 out of 5 hot flames for this performance because this was hot. But like I said, Miranda put up a really good fight. And also, I think it was fun to see how differently she approached this lip sync. She gave us that kooky, wild, silly, not like the other girls energy. Dressed like Moira Rose, dressed like a soccer ball, no less. And her approach here is not only comedic, but also powerful. Cause I mentioned Gala like had this moment where she was performing in front of Miranda, which was charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talenty of Gala. But also, I think charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talenty of Miranda. Because Miranda could have said, oh, there's somebody in front of me, she's disrupting my line of sight to the judges, and I need to bust out these moves, so I'm gonna move out of the way. But instead, she stood there and let Gala do her thing while maintaining eye contact with the judges and continuing her planned choreography. She said, I don't even see this little girl in front of me, I'm gonna pretend she's not there and keep going. She worked her little one side of the stage perfectly. Plus she had her fun, silly moment with the little umbrella thing she popped out that threw glitter all over the stage. Ultimately though, while her performance was solidly entertaining and certainly hot, I don't think it beat out Gala's by any stretch of the imagination. But that was obviously not a feeling Miranda was sharing because we see her walk in untucked, grab her untucked beverage, take a sip, and then spit it out. I was gagged. Like, I don't think we've ever seen a contestant go into the workroom mad enough to spit a drink all over the floor in the workroom. And I would say we kind of saw like a bad side to her, and this was maybe a little bit of bad sportsmanship, but this also is reality TV, and I enjoyed the drama of what she was doing there. Which brings us into round 5, the first round of semifinals in this Lip Sync Lalaparuza, where the wheel selects Gala Varo to be our first queen to lip sync, who selects Eva as her opponent. And I was a little worried here for Gala because she did you'll remember, just finished a lip sync. And so she maybe could have been at a little bit of a handicap going into this because she might have been tired. But remember that she also lost her wig. And in the shot right before they start the lip sync, we can clearly see that the wig has been secured and fully glued back down to the scalp. So there probably was plenty of time for her to recoup and rest before round 4 and 5. Or at least enough time, thankfully, to get her wig back on. And concerning Gala choosing Eva as her lip sync opponent, I will say on one hand, this was a bold choice because did she not just see what Eva did to Vanity in round 1? Oh my god. But on the other hand, Gala actually did send Eva home earlier in the season, so she was probably feeling confident that she could do that again. And she was right. But I will say this lip sync was a really tough call for me. It was actually one that I flip-flopped on the more that I rewatched this lip sync. Because on my first watch through, I actually did agree with the judges, thinking that Gala won with her tricks. But when I watched it back, I was like, oh, Eva really did know these lyrics, just like she knew them in that first round, forwards and backwards, and knew the lyrics well enough to do really funny things like miming snapping Gala's neck to the beat of the track. The Sasha Colby callback? Mother. But on the other hand, Eva's performance here was a lot of moving and pointing, while Gala had trick after trick and gave a lot of different type of energy to this song with a lot of sensuality that Eva just didn't bring. And so I am giving both queens hots in this performance, but I do kind of think Eva was a little bit robbed here. And we can even see in Untucked as the queens are reacting to this performance, everybody, except maybe Alyssa, thinks that Eva won. But I of course would love to know what y'all thought down in the comments below. And next up, we've got Athena Likis versus Soa de Muse, which is another lip sync rematch between two queens who we last saw go head to head in episode 3 of this season. And even though the outcome of this rematch is the same, I actually was really happy that these two got to redeem a lip sync together because that Olivia Rodrigo song they did was a really odd lip sync choice, and this was phenomenal. They lip synced to You Wear It Well, and honestly, I was having a little conspiracy theory moment that these two planned or choreographed their performance to this beforehand, because the way they were so in sync throughout the entire track was jaw-dropping. Like, girl, I just know that they were doing their coffee enemas together, holding hands underneath the stall door in the bathroom before they hit the stage. Because they were so in sync in so many parts, like when they're strutting together down the stage, and when they're looking each other in the eye and doing their little dance thing together, perfectly in sync. And this lip sync was not only a highlight of this episode, but I think truly a highlight of the entire season, and was just such a great moment overall for both queens. And so I'm gonna give them both 5 out of 5 hot flames, and honestly, I think their performance here was equal by all measures. And if I were sitting on that panel, the only way I could possibly choose, I think, would be based on the outfits they're wearing. And while I don't love either of these outfits, I do think Soa is a little bit better. And so I was totally fine with the judges' choice here to progress Soa into the final round. The only thing that I thought was a little weird about this lip sync was for how perfect and amazing and in sync it was with these two queens, I couldn't help but notice there was a bizarre cut in the beginning to middle section of the song where it seems like a chunk of this lip sync was missing. Because it was also one of the shorter lip syncs of the 7 tonight. And I'm kind of left wondering, what is it that they cut out and what story is not being told? Which brings us into the final round of this Lalaparuza, where we've got Gala Varo versus Soa de Muse lip syncing to RuPaul's The Beginning. And y'all, if y'all thought the You Wear It Well lip sync was a highlight of this episode and of this season, this one somehow tops that. Like, girl, the IMDb ratings for this season were at all-time lows never before seen in the franchise. A season 2 Global All-Stars renewal was not looking likely. The fan base was completely apathetic to the outcome of the season. Both of these queens had already been eliminated. The stipends were already spent, the rent was due, the eviction notice was on the door. These queens had only one chance and one opportunity, and they did not miss their chance to blow. They really tore this up. This was incredible. Both Gala and Soa were so 100% on in this lip sync, and both of them brought the best possible versions of themselves. And I think what made this even a little bit better than the You Wear It Well lip sync was that You Wear It Well had both of the queens perfectly in sync, but this one had each of them doing their own signature thing. Gala was so sexy and so sensual and had so many tricks, including an air violin, a slow-mo headstand where she also does the splits, jumping toe touches, more splits, and then dropping into splits. Like, she dragged her charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent around every inch of that stage and ate this up. But Soa did too, and brought this really infectious, positive energy to this song. She was smiling the entire time, and every single bit of choreo that she busted out was just perfectly on beat, and her lip sync was maybe one of the tightest I've ever seen on RuPaul's Drag Race. For example, there's this part in the song where RuPaul is singing Change Your World, Change Your Mind, and then there's like a backup vocal layered in where RuPaul's saying, get it, right. And somehow Soa lip synced both the main and backup vocal at the same time and did this kind of robot twitch move while she did it. And I was like, oh, she's really doing all that. She brought it to the next level and then some. And I would have been happy with either of them taking the win here, but because Soa, I think, had a more consistent and solid performance throughout each of her lip syncs tonight, I think the judges made the right call in giving her the win here. Because you'll remember the lip sync with Gala versus Eva, Gala didn't really know all of her lyrics there. And so Soa de Muse wins the Global Lip Sync Lalaparuza Smackdown for the title of Global Lip Sync Assassin and a cash prize of $50,000, which is $50,000 more than even the winner of her season took home. And that's the gag of the season. And I'm honestly like so proud of not only Soa, but this entire cast for this Lalaparuza. I kind of went into this a little nervous, a little hesitant, kind of not knowing what to expect, because some of the lip syncs this season were a little for me, but the girls did not come to play. They said there's $50,000 on the line, and that's a whole lot of money. And I just want to give a round of applause for everyone in this Lalaparuza, because those last two lip syncs especially were just so game-changing and groundbreaking, and honestly much needed for a season that was in such a sorry state in terms of fan reception. And this Lalaparuza has got to be, I think, one of the best of the entire franchise across all seasons. Like, the girls really did that. They were starved, they were hungry, and they ate. And honestly, the judges were very fair, I think, in their evaluations of progressing each queen to the next round. And the only wrong call, which, you know, will have varied opinions, was I think the one where they chose Gala over Eva, but was it really wrong if the final lip sync was so good? Now that's the question. And lastly, I want to say thanks so much to you for watching today's video and for tuning in to all my hot or rots throughout this season. My channel truly would not be possible without you or my very generous patrons at patreon.com/BussyQueen. Don't forget to click my link below to join my Patreon to help support the channel and get access to tons of exclusive content like reaction videos to every episode of Drag Race I review. And finally, I want to give an extra special shout out to Ashton, Felicia, Laura, Matthew Burns, Nicole, Minst, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier at patreon.com. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye.